Okay, guys. So what we are doing now is, first of all, quickly I'll be reviewing. Yes. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry.
For some reason, it's not that keep suddenly there's only more stuff.
What about you? Complete a 4:13? No,
I'm gonna do
So
it.
it is stopping now, and once it's completely
4:13 and
then you
4:14.
can
Two left.
click again here, and then go inside.
I was waiting for you guys.
Inside here, so it's easy to do. Sometime it doesn't.
But I have to first prepare it, right? Then I will go to
Yeah.
maybe ask. Yeah.
VMware workstation. Yes, it doesn't need internet.
Because I
So
paid
now double click on this, finish the
7 months back, I paid 430. Then I never attempted.
Only one time.
What is your review the check away?
So you put
Sorry?
your servers
Can
are on.
review the
Servers are on.
You can't revise?
Servers are not on.
once you exit one section, you exit.
Yeah, it's just
Oh, the
something is happening. If it's by section.
So this is our architecture, guys. The architecture that we are working is 2 servers, 1 client. So 2 servers, 1 client. 2 servers, 1 client. So what is a server? A server is a multi-user machine in which multiple users can connect to one server. And then servers cannot work without operating system. You must have operating system. So here our servers are, all of the servers are 2012 R2. So they are all 2012 R2. And this one is Windows 7. This is Windows 7. And plus here the names are, what are the names? Name is eGreen, SRV1, and then we have eGreen SRV2 and eGreen CL1. Now, and IP address is 192.168.100.10. This one is 100.20, and this one is 100.10. Okay. IP addresses are these. Next one, here on this one we have roles. ADDS role is on this. What else? Which
We have DHCP, WDS.
So there is
DNS,
DNS,
yeah,
there is DHCP,
and
and there is WDS role. There is W. So this is, so these are. On the second one, there are no roles yet. There are no roles on this one. It is just a member machine. It is joined to this one. It is joined to this one, and also this one is also joined to the first one. What is the name of our Active Directory?
PRI.
egreen.pri. This is our Active Directory. How do you define Active Directory? What is Active Directory?
Authentication.
It is used for authentication, but what is this name?
Domain name.
It is a domain name, but why do we need it? What is it like? Any example from real life?
For a company, for example, to stay local within the company.
To stay?
Local within the organization.
To
Stay within.
stay within the organization, yes, it makes a boundary and you. But what is the main function? It's the main function is authentication. Any person who is trying to use, so in this company, in Evergreen, anyone who is trying to use any resources in this network, they must go through the Active Directory. So Active Directory is used to kind of authenticate users, and you will find Active Directory everywhere, in Rogers, Dell, Bell, and everywhere. Okay, WDS. What is WDS?
Automatic deployment.
It is automatic deployment service. It is automatic deployment service. Was it just adding the role? You can make it work, but there are something additional that we need to do. We need to do a lot of additional steps that we need to do. Okay. So some of you who did the practical, some of you who did the practical 2 or 3 times, it's very easy to understand. And for some of you who are kind of new, some of you were kind of new in rhyming. Guys, we all need to be on the same level. We all need to be on the same level, Shuja. Shuja, we all need to be. What is WDS, Shuja? And what does it do? It automatically deploys the operating system. Can I install WDS role on Windows 7?
No, it has to be Windows 7.
It has to be a server. Excellent. Very good. It has to be a server. Can I install Active Directory on Windows 7, Kim? I can't. Why? It has to be a server. So there are these things that can only be installed on the server. Okay, excellent. So guys, this is where we are. We are at the moment, we have set up our environment, and we have 2 servers, 1 client, and this is exactly the way we manage this, guys. The way we manage this, there is no difference at all if I give you 200 servers and 2,000 clients. So 2,000 clients and 200 servers are managed exactly in the same manner as we are managing 2 servers and 1 client. Because the same thing you need to do on 2,000 clients, they all need to be joined to Active Directory. You have to have Active Directory, and then Active Directory will be installed on some of the server. It works exactly in the same manner. So this chapter is about administration of Active Directory. So far what we did install servers. So your first server was just provisioning servers. First chapter.
Last time, the last topic was deal with the PowerShell command. Can we touch that already?
Just a second.
So we're at chapter 5 today?
We are at chapter 5 today, yes. Okay, so last week there was one topic left at the end, which is PowerShell, understanding PowerShell, and that topic is in this chapter. That topic is repeated in this chapter. I'm going to go over this. So far this is what we have completed, guys. So far we started with provisioning a server. This chapter is all about installing a server as a core server or as a full installation, as a GUI installation. And then how do you install a server? And and the second server was deploying a server. Third is remote management. This is mostly it is said to be a remote management, but this is mostly about server manager, how servers are being managed. So this chapter was all about. So this chapter, if we log in here, this chapter is all about server manager. So on server manager, everything that we do in these servers. Basically, just from this first dashboard, you can find out how many roles are there and how do they work. Guys, sitting here in the class, you should visualize a real environment. Even in the real environment, when you are employed and you're asked to start managing these servers, the very first thing all you need to do is log into a server, and just by looking at this first server, guys, at first glance, you should be able to find out what type of server is this. Now, this server as compared to this server. So this server as compared to this server, if I'm logged in, yes I am. So do you see any differences?
Yeah.
Yes, there are less roles on this, and whereas this server has more roles. So which one is more important? This server is more important because this has more roles on it. And then we need to not only just at first glance, we need to understand how many roles are there, we need to understand the importance of role as well. So for example, this server is most crucial to your environment because this is the only server that has Active Directory. Now at any point in time, if this server completely dies, it means that none of the resources, none of the users will be able to log into none of the resources. Remember, this is what we discussed in the beginning, and we need to keep that keep this picture visually that this is how Active Directory works. Active Directory sits in the middle, and on this side you have all types of users, and on this side you have all types of resources. So your printers, your servers, your internet, everything is going through Active Directory permission. If Active Directory permits, then they'll be able to use all these resources. At any point in time, if this one server goes down, it means these users cannot access these resources. So making this server the most important server of your organization. Okay. So first of all, before even starting this chapter, we will follow one best practice about Active Directory, and we need to remember that best practice throughout our IT career. And that best practice is, guys, the organization that you're working for, it might be a small organization. So all IT organizations are three types. There are small organizations, then there is medium-sized organizations, and then there are large organizations. So you're working for small, medium, or large. In any case, all you need to do, guys, we always need to have 2 Active Directory servers. Always need to have 2. So this is a best practice for Active Directory. Do not have just one Active Directory server. Why? Because if you have one Active Directory server, if everything goes down, if this server goes down, you're basically your authentication is off. So there is no authentication. But in other words, none of the users will be able to access none of the resources. So for that reason, today what we're going to do, we're going to make this server our Active Directory server as well. Now, when you make this server as an Active Directory server, what happens is Active Directory, so this will exactly look like this. So first of all, this server is an Active Directory server. How do you make an Active Directory server? All you need to do is add a role on this. So what we'll do is we'll add a role called ADDS. So first of all, you would add a role. So number one, we'll add this role, and right after that, what it does, it runs a DC Chromo wizard. So it runs a DC Chromo wizard, and then during this wizard, it will ask you a few questions. Guys, when it asks you a few questions, the very first question will be that is it a new forest or is it an existing forest? So whenever you look at Active Directory, it is exactly like these. It is represented as these triangles. So these triangles are not made by me. It is made technically. You will find these triangles in technical diagrams. Active Directory is represented as these triangles. So here, so outer triangle means it is a forest, and then there is second one, which is a tree. So this one is this is known as a tree, and the third one is known as a domain. This is known as a domain. And inside a domain, you have your first server. So our server is actually sitting inside here. This is our server that is known as eGreen SRV01. So this is the server where Active Directory is. Now, what are these 3 triangles? These are logical security boundaries. These are logical security boundaries. Any person, anyone who needs to hack into the server, they need to first break this first boundary wall. They need to break the forest. Then they need to break the tree. Then they need to break a domain, and then they need to break the server in order to get into. So basically, first of all, for now, we need to understand these are security boundaries. These are logical security boundaries. You won't find them around the server, but these are logical security boundaries. Okay. So we have only one domain controller at the moment. What we'll do is, as soon as you add the role and then you run DC Chromo, it will ask you, is it a new forest? So it will ask you, is it a new forest? What do you think? Is it a new forest?
No.
No, it is not a new forest. It is an existing forest because we don't want to create a new forest. Existing forest. So this is what we need to select. And secondly, is this a new domain in our existing forest?
No.
No, it is a new domain controller. Guys, the server where Active Directory is sitting is known as a domain controller. So from now on, we need to understand that this is a domain controller, this is a DC and a domain controller. So here we need to make another domain controller. So once the Active Directory wizard starts, you just need to say existing forest, number one. And number two, all you need to do, first of all, you need to say existing forest. And secondly, what you need to do is say existing new domain controller.
One question.
Yes.
In this case, both will be then domain controllers.
Which one?
First one and second one, both are.
Yes, both will be domain
Is
controller.
there one primary domain controller?
No, nothing. All are same on the same level. It used to be in 94 days, but not now. Not now. Okay. So guys, the reason we need to install it, and we'll take 10 minutes and we'll install everyone. Whoever, how many of you have second domain controllers? Anyone? You do have a second domain controller? So we're going to install it. So what we're going to do, we're going to log into the second server and add this role. Just add a role called ADDS. So this is what I'm going to do now. I am on my second server. Right here. And this is task 1 for today. So whatever we are doing in class, guys, you need to do it at home. So maybe if you want to take notes, that this is what we are doing. So here for today, we're doing making second server as DC. Task number 1. And let's do it. How do we do it? All you need to do, go into Server Manager. And then within Server Manager, you need to go into Add Roles and Features. Server Manager, Add Roles and Features, and then Next, and Next, and Next. So 3 Next. So there were 3 Next here. In order to do this, so log into second server. Log into second server, and then within Server Manager.
So
Yes.
So right now we're basically giving server 1 backup.
What?
Right now we're basically, if server 1 goes down, we're giving it backup by server 2.
Uh-huh.
So we won't be changing no domain name on it and nothing IP address.
No, we're not. As long as it is joined here, all you need to do is install Active Directory. Is it joined?
Yeah, extra.
It's joined. All you need to do, just run this wizard and add this role.
No, but if server 1 goes down and server 2 is connected to server 1,
Yes.
so is server 2
Oh,
1?
yes. Guys, the question is that since this will be our Active Directory server, and if this first server goes down, then what happens? Nothing will happen. This will act. This will be a domain controller on its own, and it doesn't need this server. So it's a second domain controller. So you're bringing in another office manager. So if there was one office manager, this is kind of not a backup, but equal office manager. Okay. So here we're just adding that role and add feature and next. We'll select this as usual and next.
So I have a question. You know
Yes.
how we after this step, how we go back and you mentioned about the new domain and add a domain controller to an existing domain. When
Yes,
do we
the
use
first one.
when do we use the other two?
So the other two is, first there is one option for new forest. New forest you will use if it is completely a separate organization. For example, if I would say your organization is Rogers and their organization is Thales, so they need to create another organization. So new forest is only created when it is completely new organization. Okay, it has nothing to do with your existing organization. And a new domain is created. New domain is required when you need to have a security security boundary between two departments of the same organization.
Like when ADFC vote kicks in there?
ADFC will not be, ADFS will not be
ADFS.
used. It won't be used. No. ADFS is also for organization to organization. But here, first question was new forest. When do you use new forest? So when do you use new forest? In case of completely new organization. So this is new organization. And when do you use the second option, which is a new domain? New domain is used, new domain in existing forest, which is actually, so here I'm just gonna move forward. Here, guys, we're talking about these options here.
There are a lot of questions in 410 and 11 about child domain and all, which we don't know about.
You know, in exams, there are many things that I don't know about.
Yes.
No. The thing is, in exam, they're actually checking you thoroughly on this subject. Okay, but thoroughly, those things are not used in practical. Yes.
Over here it says Active Directory Administrative Center. What's that?
This is I'm gonna start right after that. Right after this, today we're gonna do Active Directory. This is actually I'm adding another domain controller. It is not in chapter 5. It's from the previous chapter.
Okay.
Okay. Chapter 5 I'm gonna start in let's say half an hour.
Okay.
So here, guys. So yes, to answer your question, it's fine. Just go through the exam, take the certifications. Take the certification. They check you, and these things that we do here, creating a new domain, creating a new forest, guys. This is done once in a lifetime in an organization. So if in Rogers the forest was created 10 years back, it won't be changed again. So there are few things that sit there and we don't make any changes. But as a system admin, we should have knowledge of all this, these things. So here now the question is, when you are installing for first option, this is a new forest, meaning if it is a completely new organization, we'll go with this. And we went with this when you created your first server. Second one, we went through, which is now we are going through this option. I need to create a second DC actually. So this is why I'm going with the first option. But then your question is, where is this option used? Guys, this option is used only if I need a security boundary between two departments of the same organization. For example, we are all in Rogers, but then Rogers Mobility is saying, no, we want to have our separate accounts, separate security. We don't want to share it with the normal Rogers. So if you need to have a security boundary between two departments within the same organization, then we go with the second option. At the moment, we're not going with the second option. Okay?
Yeah.
So it is, so domain is within the same organization, second department. Question?
No, I'm just saying like it will be as per requirement. If it is required.
It is as per requirement, yes. So here I'm going to go with add a domain controller, second. And here we're going to use a DSRM password.
So in exam, if there are questions about child, then say I'm not mad. What are you asking child? It's discrimination.
You never know.
That's not
You never know. And marriage is not a crime.
So this domain controller will be a GC as well. So
It will be a GC as well. Yes.
Jahannami.
Class rules,
Are
guys.
we replicating it from any domain controller? Or
Yes, it will be. It will be automatically.
Any domain controller.
Any domain controller.
So how can we check if the application is working?
I'm gonna show you. Okay. Yes.
Can you check? Say.
Oh yes. It is because you're not logged in with the administrator. So let's do this. First of all, expand the screen, please. Yes. And second of all, did you? Okay, so that's extra. So just log off. How do you log off from this machine? Just click that Windows icon right at the end, yes, and then just click on Administrator and sign out. Okay, so now sign in. Here you need to, so when you use this user, you're logging into the server. You need to log into a domain.
Okay.
So how do you know if you're logging in? See the name before the slash? It is the server name.
Okay.
So click on other user and type here egreen/administrator. I think it's backslash.
Case sensitive?
Huh?
Domain names are case sensitive?
No, they're not.
Then we who slash?
No, you are on this slash.
Yeah.
The backslash. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Oh.
Done? No?
Okay. So right now the terms for these machines use am I going to install
No, just ADAC.
Yeah, this one.
How much you can make money?
So install Active Directory, guys. As soon as it is installed, let me know. It is installing. Click.
You're right. Then you have to hustle for a month.
Are you too comfortable sitting here?
Yeah.
No, I need to change your seat.
Okay, now
So don't be too
That's
comfortable.
a bad word.
Shouldn't be.
Yes,
Any domain controller or the other one?
any.
There is one, this one as well.
Any.
Okay. And this one would any
Yes.
partner something?
Yes, I'm gonna explain that.
Sergio, when I was doing the lab last night,
Yes.
you know how it asked for F12? Before you even get to that, what do you call it?
DHCP?
DCP, you know, I pressed F12 and it started the installation as well.
Because as soon as your finger was going to press F12, in split second it happened. Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about F12 paint?
No, actually, no. Actually, he's saying it was even quicker than that. He pressed F12 and it didn't got the IP address.
That's right, that's right.
No, it happened. So as soon as you were clicking, in split second it happened. Because without IP address, no machine can get a operating system. So it must have got the operating system.
Okay, because the installation started, but I didn't see the IP address at the bottom, 192.168.1. I deleted that machine. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's working, it is the same operating system.
The pain of
These
F12.
young girls are doing young and restless.
So the start doesn't mean that it's my favorite. I mean, if you have a list of
I have no idea.
then you can just go back up.
We're joining your
If it is there, just delete it. As long as
Yeah, to
yeah, don't
Super, yeah.
check your firewall. Check firewall on both sides. Check firewall. Yes. Just click here. Please.
Yeah, obviously, I told you 6 to 7.
It's a exists.
पता क्या वो स्टक हो गया वो ना काफी ज्यादा मशीनें बना दो थोड़ी डिलीट कर दो तो वो ना कम है लगा रहा नहीं हमने के पास तो सारे पुराने कंप्यूटर लोगों को बेचते जा रहा है बीच में लगा
So DC is already added.
बिल्कुल
Okay.
सस्ती 1100 उतने में बड़ा जितने को बना ये सेकंड जनरेशन ऐसे हो गए
Jamshid was doing the exam.
Who else?
Kim,
Who else?
Kim.
Kim is not speaking other language.
So I was speaking English.
No, I heard.
No, I think it is due to the projector. You.
I'm listening.
Yeah, it is converting maybe.
Okay. 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 So guys, Active Directory is installed.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what Chinese says?
Yes.
Chinese says always learn in your mother tongue.
So now I need to learn. What's your language? Is Tagalog?
Tagalog.
So I need to learn Tagalog.
Okay.
Walang ano. Salamat.
He was speaking our
Guys, we need to abide by that rules. Yes.
So you see Mary.
Yeah, I have to give this guy shorter, bro. I forgot his shorter last name. Shorter.
Your name is going. Yes. Just recheck. Okay, here. Huh? You're asking me how to turn the firewall off? Okay. So guys, here, let's understand what we did. We added a second domain controller. How many of us do we understand what we did? We added a second domain controller. But now how would it affect your environment?
Let's pay attention, guys.
Guys, I need your attention here. So, the two people on the board, I need them as volunteers. Yay, guys, give them a hand. Excellent. Arif and Shib, here.
Arif and Shib.
Yes.
Arif and Shoaib.
Arif and Shib, they're so the two people here. Jamshid later. Okay. So what we need to do, guys, we need to simulate in order to understand what we did. So yes, there are lots written in the book. There is lots. So two domain controller, the authenticate. We need to understand this concept. The concept is very simple. The concept is okay. So how do we understand? How do we remember Active Directory? Do we know? Do we know? Actually, it was authentication. Basically, we started with a list. So we had this first domain controller that remember that example of a note that we created a simple list, and then we said that few people can access a USB. Everyone.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on this. So here, Active Directory works like this. Let's say in this environment, I want to have a security on this phone, and this phone is for everyone. So if everyone starts using this phone without proper security, then what happens that there might be a misuse of a phone. So all we are saying that whoever need to access this, their name has to be listed here. Ijaz and everyone, their name has to be. So I'm going to write here. So hold this, please. No, it's fine. I'm going to write it. So here I'm going to say a phone can be accessed from a user called Shoaib, and the list. So here Shoaib can access it from 9 a.m. to 5. Whereas there is a second person, Arif, can access it from 5 to onwards. So 2. Now, as soon as they need to access, Arif, try to access the phone. No, you can't because it's not 5 o'clock yet. It's not 5 o'clock. This is the main purpose of this list, guys. This is the main purpose of Active Directory. Access denied. Exactly. Access denied. And we named the list as egreen.pri. Guys, this is the main function of Active Directory. Okay. Do we understand Active Directory?
Yes,
That this list is Active Directory. Without this list, now let's see that this is the only list we have in this network. And what happens is this list is not here. So please sit down. Now let's say domain controller goes down. And at this point, people need to access this phone. As soon as Jamshed try to access the phone, but you can't. So he is trying to access the phone since the person who has the list is not available. And that was this domain controller. And this is exactly what happens when you have one domain controller. So what we did now, so when our first DC was alive, we created a second domain controller. And guys, when you create a second domain controller, what happens is you don't have to do much. All you need to do, add a role. So this is, I'm adding a role, ADDS role added here. But when you added a role, can you hold this please? When you added a role, it had nothing. Then it runs the second wizard saying, oh, run DC promo. And then it asks you, is it a new forest? So basically it is saying, should I create a brand new list or should I use this list? This was the second option here, saying that no, it's a new domain controller in the same forest. So now what happens is everything will be copied exactly what is in this list. So here I'm going to say this is a phone, and so here and Shoaib and Arif. So now we have two lists. Now guys, the next point that I want to I want to let you know is the next point I need to explain the replication. All DCs. So now both became a DC. Guys, they automatically replicate information. And this is a quality of a DC that they keep on replicating information. And every 15 minutes, so you should know every 15 minutes. So here I'm going to say every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, both will check with each other if what is new, what is changed. Because you might be adding new users here. So every 15 minutes, how much time? 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, ask him, do you have anything new for me? Not yet. And let's say we created new users. But we created new users on this second DC. So this second DC has a new user called, let's say, Shuja. And Shuja doesn't exist in this list. So every 15 minutes, these both will check with each other, guys. It's not that just this machine will go, DC will go here. Both DCs, every 15 minutes, they will shake hands. Every 15 minutes. So let's say we created a user here and 15 minutes have passed. What happens is, now you will ask him, do you have anything new for me? Shake hand, and it's Shuja. And here we're going to write Shuja. Guys, we need to remember that Active Directory servers and domain controllers automatically replicate all the time. So this is this for that reason we have now two DCs. Now let's do the disaster test one more time. And now this time, let's say a first server is not available. If first server is not available and a user Jamshed need to access the phone, now try to access the phone, please. So before accessing the phone, you need to ask permission from Active Directory. So he will go to Active Directory. Since first is not available, this is the advantage of second DC. So guys, this is why we said in all the domains, you must have, what is the best practice? At least have two DCs. At least have two DCs. Guys, many small organizations are not following this practice. And then what happens is, they work for years and years, and their first DC, when it goes down, then they wake up and they say, oh, we had only one domain controller. So according to Microsoft, according to books, according to documentation, there must be at least two DCs. Doesn't matter, it's a small organization, large organization. You must have at least two DCs. Excellent. So before your question, let me leave these guys. So guys, give them a hand. Good simulation.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, question.
One question that, let's say if we go by the standard of having two domain controllers, the first one and the second one, as there is no concept of primary, both are available. The second one will only be available once the first is not available,
No.
or it's busy in something, or it's totally dead.
No. It is both of them. Guys, the question here is, let's say Jamshed needs to access a resource. So would Jamshed always go to the first server, or he would go to the second server if first server is not available? So how would the both server offer their authentication service? Answer is, they are both available 24/7. Whoever picks up the request first, it will reply back. Okay. So guys, domain controllers, and I'm going to come back to your question. So first of all, we have two DCs. Why have we created two DCs, Ahmed? To actually kind of back up the first one. If first goes down, the services should still be available to everyone. Now one quality of multiple DCs is that they automatically replicate. So the word is automatic replication.
So what if both goes down? Both of the servers go down.
Then it's a bad day. It is a bad day. It is a bad day for sure. If both goes down, it means it's a bad day, and you must now either restore it from a backup or maybe fix it. Your resources are, your network is completely dead.
So when the service goes down, do we have to make a new server and add all?
No, most of the time we have backups. We have backups. Not snapshots, but real backups. Real backups, yes.
So if we have two servers and one is DC, right?
Two servers and one DC, yes.
One DC. So the replication is always on the DC one?
No, replication is only on a DC. So it's a very good question. If this second server is not a DC, guys, it doesn't take part in replication. The word replication is just exchange of this list. So this list has to be up to date all the time. This is known as replication when both lists are automatically updated. Guys, it is exactly the same concept when we have our when we have our WhatsApp. Everybody is using WhatsApp nowadays, right? In a WhatsApp, when we create a list, each list, whoever is part of that list, that complete list is being replicated within the group. So it's exactly the same concept. Okay, question?
Yeah, so whenever we will add a new role to a new DC,
Yes.
it will replicate those functions automatically. For instance, DHCP.
No, not. Yes.
Okay.
It is only, so it's another good question. Replication, is this a property for only Active Directory, or is it a property for DHCP and WDS? No, it's not.
Okay.
It is only a property, it's a quality only in Active Directory list. So this is the Active Directory list. This will automatically replicate in 15 minutes. For now, just remember 15 minutes, guys. Here, 15. Now, this is for servers that are sitting in the same site, in the same city. let's say you have one domain controller in Toronto and another domain controller in Montreal. Guys, when they replicate the list, so one in Toronto and one in Montreal, when they replicate information, the time interval is 90 minutes. For them, it's 90 minutes. For Insight, for the same city, it's 15. I just want you to remember 15 minutes because we haven't created any server, any domain controller in another city yet. Yes, Kim?
Sir, what are the causes of the shut or the crash down of the server so we can prevent that?
So good question. What is the cause of a server going down, and how would we prevent it? Guys, server can go down for there are hundreds of reasons why server could go down. For example, your C drive is full. Your C drive, your disk is 100% reach capacity, and if it has reached capacity, there is no more room on the server will go down. And maybe there is some hardware malfunction. Your network card is completely dead. So this card is completely dead. So that would, I mean, so we can have some precautions here. So in order to just proactively monitor these, we have monitoring tools. Monitoring tools will keep an eye on Masood and keep checking his heartbeat, keep checking his listening power, keep checking his vision and everything. And as soon as anything goes down less than the baseline, so what is baseline? What is our vision baseline? 6x6? So our vision baseline. As soon as it goes down, the monitoring tool automatically sends an alert to system admin. So guys, the question was, how can we prevent the crash? We can prevent it by using monitoring tools.
Is there some sort of role in the?
No, it's another application. It's another application called SCOM. Okay. So guys, have we created a domain controller? Now the second thing what we need to do, we need to verify. We need to verify what? We need to.
Relevant question, sorry, sir.
I'm gonna come back. We need to verify if these two lists are exactly the same in both of them. So what I want you to do is, guys, on both servers, open Active Directory users and computers. On both servers, open Active Directory users and computers. And make sure that the OU structure name is exactly the same. So on both servers, on this server and this server, open Active Directory users and computers. So here, what we'll do is, we'll go to the first server. And how do you open Active Directory users and computers? Just go to Server Manager and then go to Tools. And from Tools, you can go to Active Directory users and computers. So one more time, how do you open Active Directory users and computer? We need to go into Tools, and then we can go to Active Directory users and computers. And then secondly, we need to check, we need to open the same thing on the second server as well. So go to Tools and open Active Directory users and computer. So this is the second task we did. Verify replication. So Aman, you asked me this question, how to verify replication. We can verify replication by checking Active Directory users and computer. Now, if this Active Directory users and computer is exactly the same, so I do see on second server that it has a OU called Mississauga, it has a OU called Toronto. This should exactly be the same on the second server, on the first server. So on both servers, it's exactly the same on both sides. Now, just to further test it, let's create a new user on first server and see that if it is created automatically on the second server. So guys, let's do this. On your first server, here on first server, go into ADUC and create a user. Create a user. So here we are going to create a user called John Hope. Ta-da! Okay. Anyway, guys, we need to create this user. Just create this user on the second server. Let's create it on second server. Or if you're creating it on first, it's fine. But on the other server, it should automatically appear. But where are we creating it? Guys, we're creating it in Mississauga. So John is a new employee in your company. Just joined your Mississauga office. So we'll go into Mississauga. And within Mississauga, he's joining as a call center employee. And so we go into call center, we go into users, and in here, we already have one person called Ellen. All we need to do, we create a new user right here. So new user will be, now if you don't have this tree structure, how many of you doesn't have the tree structure?
We only had Toronto for the class lab lifespan. So we didn't have Mississauga or the North.
But it was in the video.
Yeah,
It is in the
it's
video.
home lab. It's in the home lab, but not in the
So even in class we had it.
Huh?
No, we did it.
No, in the class we just did Toronto. But it's fine. Okay. Guys, from next time, if you have not done the homework, your name is going here. Your name is going here, and then we'll do some exciting stuff here. Guys, it's very, very important. It's very, very important that I need to secure your investment. This is your investment, not my investment. Okay, we need to understand this. Do not take it lightly, guys, because this is completely career changing. For now, this might be the simplest stuff. But guys, later on, Ahmed, Kim, and everyone, later on, this will affect your VMware knowledge. This will affect your Citrix knowledge. This will affect your SCCM knowledge. Everything advanced in the field. So please, please, please do the homework. Do the homework and follow the video. Follow the video, please. So here, if you do not have the lab, if you do not have the OU structure, just create a user in users OU. Just create a users in users OU. There is a OU called user. Just create this user. First name is John. Last name is Hope. You had a question first.
It was just a relevant question to is a server going down or thing like that. That the servers here. What is the normal standard preference for the system admin? We check the software first and then the hardware, and we will not take care about hardware at all because this is the network side. How does
No. Okay. I'll take this question in a minute. I'll take it. Guys, what I did, I just created a user called John Hope in my. So John Hope joined us in Mississauga in call center in user. So I just created this user. All we need to verify. So this is exactly like you added a user called Shuja on the second server, and it was automatically replicated. Guys, the replication interval is 15 minutes, but it happens faster than this. So let me go to my second server and see that if it is already replicated. So I'll go to my second server, I'll go inside Mississauga, and I'll go inside call center and users, and there you go, I do have John Hope. Meaning that the replication is happening properly. So whatever you do on the first server or the second server, they both replicate immediately. I didn't use the word immediately because the default replication is 15 minutes. But there are few things that should be replicated immediately. Okay. So now going back to question here, guys, the question here is that if a server goes down, where should we start fixing it? Should we check the hardware first? Should we check the server Active Directory first or software first? Or is the hardware responsibility of a network team? This is your question, right?
Yeah.
So guys, the answer is when it comes to a server, everything is our responsibility. Everything. If it is a hardware error, you must fix it. If it is a software error, you must fix it. Network team responsibility is just the networking. So the router, switches, cabling, and everything to do with the server is our responsibility. Now, how do you know where the problem is? Once you start the server, you have to troubleshoot and find out if it is powering on, if it is logging in. So these things. Okay. Question?
It is working.
It is working?
Nothing is working.
Nothing is working. So the second server is not working. Even after that.
Even after that's not working, plus now I can't even go to tools and open it.
Restarting server.
Did you restart both of them?
I did.
Both of them restarted. Are they pinging each other? Please. So try all your basics. They must be pinging. Firewalls must be off. And the last thing we need to do is to restart switches. Restart switches. There are switches in there. Remember you showed me that checkbox Right under that checkbox, there is something called restore default. Right under that checkbox, there is something called restore default. You might need to restore default. That means to restart all switches. Okay. So guys, this is what we did so far. This is what we did so far. We have a second domain controller. At this point, all you need to do is, take a snapshot of your environment so that it stays here. It stays here, and then we'll move on. Guys, today's chapter is chapter 5, and chapter 5 is administrating this Active Directory. So chapter 5 is about any question about domain controller, multiple domain controllers? Okay, so chapter 5 is about now. So is your application working fine? Did we verified? You created a user. Was it available in the other machine? Yeah. Okay, it's available in the other machine. Everybody's application is working fine except Hamza. Okay, and yours working fine. Okay. Okay, so here, guys. Now, guys, this chapter talks about further managing Active Directory. So basically, it has 3 lessons here. One is ADAC, talking about ADAC, and second is enabling features in ADAC, and last one is using ADAC through PowerShell. So here, this is what I'm going to do. So this is about, this chapter is all about working with ADAC. ADAC. And ADAC basically stands for Active Directory Administrative Center. It stands for Active Directory guys, Active Directory Administrative Center is a new tool introduced for simple Active Directory management. It's a new tool. So here I can say it is a new tool added in Server 2012. So meaning this tool was not available in 2008. In 2008, it was not even there. So in 2012, this tool is newly added, and this is for to make Active Directory administration simpler, to make AD administration simpler. To make AD administration simpler. So we can make Active Directory administration simpler. Now, what is simple administration? Guys, in order to administrate Active Directory, you must have understanding of Active Directory. So basically, you do need to understand how Active Directory is installed. You would add a role, and then before adding a role as an Active Directory admin, you should know what IPs are, how to work with IP, how to assign IPs, how to disable the firewall, and all those things. You need to know those basics. But guys, sometimes Active Directory needs to be accessed by people who are sitting in help desk. So basically, this is making simpler basically for the help desk. So the people who are working in help desk, they do not necessarily have deep Active Directory knowledge. So the people sitting in help desk, they might not know what are IP addresses, why IP addresses are important for Active Directory. So help desk people, all they need to know, if somebody calls them, if Jamshed calls the help desk team saying that I cannot log in because I'm getting a password denied or access denied, then these people should have access to Active Directory so that they can quickly check his account and disable a few things. So ADAS, which is Active Directory Administration Center, it is used by help desk department. It is actually created for help desk or call center users. Now, if this is a new tool, your question is, what was there in 2008? Guys, in 2008, everybody used to use only ADUC. ADUC. So in 2008, this is ADUC. So basically, when you install Active Directory, it comes with 3 essential tools. When you install Active Directory, it comes with 3 essential tools, and those 3 essential tools are these. let's go to our server and let's see these tools here. So if I go to tools here, and here the three most essential tools are, guys, these are three most essential tools for Active Directory. So if you are employed as Active Directory, you have to be, most of the time you will be working with Active Directory users and computer. And then secondly, Active Directory sites and services. Third one, Active Directory domains and trust. So basically you need 1, 2, and 3. You need these tools. And in 2008, these tools were there. There was no tool called Active Directory Administrative Center. Now, for the people, for the who? People. For the people who are Active Directory experts or who are MCSA or MCSEs, guys, they should be able to manage these tools. Now, it was seen in 2003 and 2008, previous versions, and it's very important, guys. It is very important to understand. It was seen in 2008 and 2003 that since this tool has more deeper access to this list, to Active Directory, ADUC has deeper access to it. Now, people with just limited knowledge of managing Active Directory, they can damage Active Directory. So in order to keep that, in order to ADUC, so in 2008, you had no choice. You had to give them access to ADUC to work with these smaller issues. But then in 2012, now they've given this tool that is known as Active Directory Administrative Center. So whoever is sitting in a help desk, you don't need to give them complete access to this or this or this. All you need to give them is Active Directory Administrative Center. So Active Directory Administrative Center, new tool added in Server 2012 to make Active Directory administration simpler, especially for help desk users. All they can do in this tool, so what can they do in this? They can search users. They can search users. They can change passwords. They can change passwords. They can create users. They can create users, but they won't be able to do major changes in Active Directory. Yes.
I have a quick question. I'm trying to install a second server right now, right? So basically, after the password screen, after we install the password, we install next, and then as replicate prompt, we pick any, right?
Any domain.
Okay. And do we check out other install from media or no?
Leave defaults. So it is working after restarting?
No, after the.
Oh, restore default?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what happens, guys? Sometimes everything is fine in your servers, but the network has an issue. So when the network has issues, all you do is restart switches. It is exactly like when you have internet connection at home from Bell. All you need to do, sometimes you need to restart the router. Right? So this is what you just did. You just restarted switches for this network. Otherwise, everything was fine. So your second server was not able to get to first server. Yeah.
In ADAC, can they create users?
They can create users.
Delete as well?
They can delete users as well. But then you would say, oh, they have all the access. But guys, everything in ADUC, so guys here, going back to the question here. Going back to the question here. What are we doing here? Oh man. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at it. Okay, here. Let's look at this, guys. So first of all, for Active Directory admins, the tools that we use is number 1 is Active Directory users and computer, Active Directory sites and services, and Active Directory domains and trust. This is for admins. But for help desk department, you can give them this. But still, when you give them these tools, guys, you have to give them limited permissions. Now, if they don't have permissions to create users, they won't be able to create users. But what this does, as you can see, guys, everybody go into server number one, and just open Active Directory Administrative Center. So all you need to do is go to eGreen Server 1 and go to Tools and open Active Directory Administrative Center. Shuja, open Active Directory Administrative Center. So once Active Directory Administrative Center is open, within Active Directory Administrative, so it's right here within the tools. So you go into tools and open Active Directory Administrative Center. Hamza, you can open it on your first server while your second server is being installed. So within this Active Directory, so first of all, here the name says Active Directory Administrative Center. First of all, everybody is on the screen?
Yeah.
Who's not on the screen? Everyone, you're not on the screen? Okay. So here, first of all, here, this is actually, so the very first thing that I want you to look at here, it says reset password. So there is an automatic tool that is sitting here within this screen. Basically, whoever calls the help desk saying that my password is not working, all they need to do is find the user here and then just change the password. I mean, there are tools like these, and if they need to search anyone, they can just put a user here and search. Guys, let's search our Mr. Hope. So we created Mr. Hope here. So let's search in global search. So we'll go into search, and I'm going to say I'm searching for Hope. You can search by first name, last name, whatever. It should let you search, and as soon as you do, it automatically takes us to the search. So basically, this tool makes searching easy. Now, how do you search in Active Directory users and computer? Now, guys, while this is on, let's open ADUC as well. So while this is on, we'll keep it on, and we'll go back into Server Manager. How do you go back to Server Manager? It's right here at the bottom. Right here at the bottom, the briefcase type of icon. You can go to Server Manager. Same place with Server Manager. Guys, look left and right and see that everybody is on the same page. And then go to Tools. Go to Tools. And within Tools, just go to Active Directory Users and Computer. So in Server Manager, are you in Server Manager? Okay. So Server Manager, Ijaz, are you in Server Manager? Your server is not working? Okay. And Jamshed? Okay. So here. So we need to go into users and computer. Guys, let's look at this. That house, I said that ADAC is simpler. And let's see how simpler it is. Now, if I need to search anyone in Active Directory users and computers, you do need to know where to search, because here it is nowhere it's saying that you need to search something. So basically, if a person who has no idea how to use this tool, they won't be able to use the tool. So for that reason, they created this tool, Active Directory Administrative Center, for the help desk people, because it's written right in front of the screen that to how to search a people. Now in Active Directory, here you need to select a domain. Here you need to select a domain, and then you would go right here. So this is your search, find. So you need to go here, and now I need to search something. So I need to search for Hope. So if you search here, it will show you. But as you can see, in this case, I need to educate the help desk department saying that, okay, if you need to search here, just go to these steps. Whereas Active Directory Administrative Center, everything is in front of them as tools. So guys, for that reason, always remember, ADAC is not mostly used by us as system admin. It is mostly used by help desk or call center to make their life easier, to make their daily task easier. Now, let's jump back to Active Directory Administrative Center, which is now right here sitting, which is this catalog type structure, catalog type icon. And here, we just search this user. Let's see what else is there. Question?
So what if there's like hundreds of John Hope?
Yes. Then basically you need to have more kind of specific searching criteria.
Their general information.
Huh?
So their general information, basically, the customer general information.
Customer?
So let's say somebody calls the help desk, right? Now we're searching for somebody, and there's multiple John.
Oh yeah. Then you ask them some more questions. Okay, so what is the last name, first name, what would be the address, and all those things.
And I give them options there to write it all in?
No, for now. So for now, what it does, for now it gives you just all of the names based on the whatever the criteria is. For example, if they give you first name and last name, they would give it to you. If you search it by address, it would give it you the user as well. So it's a general search. Yes, you're right. It's a general search.
But you can dig more with the property.
Oh, you can dig more with the, so here, if you double click on John Hope and you go to the properties here, it would show you everything that is that John. So the first name is this, last name is this, and here display name, address, title, and everything. And how do you open this? All you need to do, just double click on this user. Now, one more time, let's go back to overview. So on overview, as soon as you jump back to overview, now you got a call asking, John is calling you saying my password is not working. So if John's password is not working, so first of all, you would ask them, what is your username? So users say, you know what, this is my first day, I don't even know my username. Okay, no, it happens, it happens. They don't know their login name. But what they do know is their first name and last name. So if they give you their first name and last name, you can search in a global search. If they know their username, all you need to do is type the username here. So here, I would say that we know that John Hope's username is jhope. If we don't know, we can still go into Hope and search again. And here we double click on John Hope. And right here, it should show us the username. This is the username, jhope. Jhope, which is the user name, this is jhope. So you would take jhope from here, or I can go back to overview, and here we'll say jhope, and you can reset their username and password. So guys, again, Active Directory Administrative Center is a tool that is made easier, simpler for the use of help desk and these people. Guys, other than this, Active Directory Administrative Center has many other benefits as well. For example, it gives you more graphical view of your Active Directory. So first of all, here it gives you more graphical view of Active Directory. So here I'm going to say, so other than simpler, the second, there are a few other advantages of Active Directory Administrative Center, which is right here. So use Active Directory Administrative Center to manage IT tasks. Use Active Directory modules for PowerShell. I'm going to go back to PowerShell later today. And there you have the dynamic access control. So for now, let's jump on to our domain. So this is on this side, we have a domain. eGreen is our domain. If you expand this domain here, this domain, it will show you all of the OUs that are created here. It shows you all of the OUs that are created here. Now within this, so first of all, without going inside, just click on eGreen. Just click on eGreen. So if you click on eGreen here, what happens is within eGreen, here it shows you everything that you have. So here it shows you Toronto OU. Now let's locate John within our OU structure. So let's locate John within our OU structure. So if you have the same OU structure, you can go to Mississauga, you can go to call center, you can go to users, or wherever you have created John in your network. So here I'm going to go into Mississauga, and I'm going to go into call center. I'm going to go into users, and here I see two users. There is Ellen Dave, and there is John Hope. So everybody located John Hope in this? So locate John Hope. Hamza, have you located John Hope? Huh? Can you help Amir, please?
Yeah, he's helping me out right now. My glasses are.
Oh, he's helping you with your glasses.
Okay.
Okay.
Here it is saying it's failed to validate the user account.
Oh. It is failed to validate
User account. One option maybe you will discuss later, because I have experienced that as well. Account unlocked, that was not available. So if any account is locked, then it will be available, or how?
No. Account unlock is within the property. If you right click on that user,
okay.
Right click on that user, go to properties.
On the overview, it is basically unlock account. Yeah, that is grayscale.
Maybe
Oh yes, yes, yes. If it is locked, then you would
Then it
see
will-
it. Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, for sure.
So ADAC can unlock the accounts as well. That happened to me. Like at 3-4 times I entered the wrong password and it was locked.
Oh yes. Yes, yes, yes. So this is how you unlock it. Yes, you would right click and unlock it. So it needs to be kind of. So guys, let's begin. So ADAC is used to make Active Directory management simpler. It is mostly used by help desk and call center, although we can use it as well. But most of the time we'll use Active Directory users and computer. Guys, within ADAC, now there are a few things that we can do. For example, let's log into our first server. What can we do with the user? We can do all these things with the user. So we can right click on John Hope. We can reset his password. We can view resultant password setting, and I'm going to come back to this in a moment. We can disable this user. We can delete a user. We can move a user. We can see the properties. We can see that. So everybody is on this screen, guys, because here within ADAC you can do everything. Now let's see this. Let's see this in ADUC as well. So at the same time, I want you to open ADUC. So ADUC is right here. So we have already opened ADUC, which is right here, guys. This one. So open ADUC as well. I want you to see both things in both consoles, so that we know that where it is. So in here, ADUC, we see the user. Right click on user. You can reset the password. You can move a user. You can delete a user, rename a user. Same thing you can do from ADAC as well. Now within this, if I right click on a domain, I can what I can do is, so if you can if you click on a domain, if the domain is selected on this side, if the domain is selected on this side, here you have new, and you can do everything that we used to do in ADUC. So in new, I can create a group, I can create a computer, I can create a user, and I can go into users property as well. Now in this, let's create a new OU from ADAC. So here, where are we creating? Jamshid, I removed your name. Just remind me that your name was there. Actually, you'll be the least person reminding. Okay, here. So I'm going to write here whatever we're doing in class lab. You need to repeat that in home lab. So here, today we did created Active Directory. So installed ADDS on server 2. Second, we verified replication. And third, what did we do? We worked in ADAC. In ADAC, we searched the user. In ADAC, we searched user and reset. We searched a user, and we need to reset a password. And other than this, now what we're going to do, where in ADAC, I want you to create a new OU under the domain, and that OU will be Montreal OU. So I want you to create a Montreal OU under eGreen in here. So all you need to do, what do you need, pen? Extra pen? Camera? Oh, mouse, the Batman type. Oh, your mouse is not working? Oh, he was testing it. Okay. So here, guys. So here, the third thing we're going to do now is create OU. Create OU in ADAC. And we need to create which OU? We need to create an OU called Montreal. We need to create an OU under eGreen. So guys, being in ADAC, create a new OU. And then we're going to verify as well. So all you need to do once you are in ADAC, which is Administrative Center, just keep selected E green, and on this side, there is new. On this side there is new, and within new just go to organizational unit. Just create a organizational unit. One more time. All we need to do, if ADAC is open, and then go to domain, and I'm going to go here in new, and within new I'm going to go to organizational unit right here. So new organizational unit. Now once you are in a new, and if you don't see it, guys, if let's say something else is selected here, then you won't see this option. Let's say overview is selected here, you won't see these options. It is very important that E green is selected here, or if your domain is CANAPS, then CANAPS is selected here. So on this side, select the domain, but this will only, Jamshed, are you on the screen?
Yeah.
So here, just go to new, and then in new, just go to organizational unit, and within organizational unit, we'll name it Montreal. You already have Montreal, then create Vancouver, Calgary. So here I'm going to create Montreal, and within Montreal, just leave the name as is, and then click OK.
So we're not adding anything else like the city, street.
We're not adding anything else at the moment. We're just creating a new OU called Montreal. Now let's verify that on server number 2 if it already got replicated. So on server number 2, just go on server number 2, and within server number 2, let's see if I go to E green. I don't see Montreal yet, but if I can refresh. So I can select E green. Let's refresh. As soon as you refresh, you would see Montreal. So guys, there are a few things in Active Directory that automatically, instantly, they are replicated. So whatever you're doing on first one, everything is being replicated. So it's the same thing. Both lists are being replicated. What is the replication interval?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. What is the replication interval in cities? 90 minutes. So here it is 15 minutes, and the other one is 90 minutes. Yes.
Can you show it one more time?
Yes. Creating. How to create?
In ADC, ADAC.
ADAC. All you need to do, keep selected the domain on this side, and then right here you would see organizational unit.
Or you can right click on E green.
Or you can right click on E green and go to new, and then you can create these, and you can create a user, you can create a group, and we know that these are normal stuff. Guys, now a new thing that this chapter is talking about, and within this, what we can do, we can enable Active Directory recycle bin. Active Directory recycle bin. Now recycle bin, as we know what recycle bin is, recycle bin is basically a place in Windows. It's a place in Windows where everything that you delete in your computer automatically goes into a recycle bin. So I'm not talking about Active Directory, I'm just talking about normal Windows. So in normal Windows, you have files, file 1, file 2, file 3, folder 1. As soon as you delete a folder, what happens is it goes into garbage, and that garbage is known as recycle bin. So this is, it is deleted from your disk and it goes into recycle bin. Recycle bin is that place in your computer where everything goes in, whatever is deleted goes into recycle bin. Guys, recycle bin exists on all computers, in all servers, Windows 7, Windows 8. Guys, adding an Active Directory, the word here is Active Directory recycle bin. Active Directory recycle bin is added to Active Directory so that if anything in Active Directory is deleted, let's say a user complete OU is deleted from Active Directory, or a user is deleted from Active Directory, there should be a place where you can undelete those objects. So basically, here our current structure is egreen, egreen.pri, and under this we have many OUs, and among those OUs we have an OU called Mississauga. Under Mississauga we have managers OU. Under this we have computers OU. We have users OU, and in users we have sitting Mr. John O. So here the user is sitting right here. So guys, what if, so first of all, recycle bin is not enabled by default. Recycle bin doesn't even exist in Active Directory. So let's talk about, first of all, if recycle bin doesn't exist. If recycle bin doesn't exist, then what happens? Now, in order to see recycle bin, it is very important to know this, that recycle bin, although we have a lot of garbage here, but still I'm going to use this. Because this is what, actually, this is not a recycle bin. This is just a garbage. But guys, now, I want to show you the importance of this box in Active Directory. In Active Directory, this box is very important. What happens is, guys, here, now look at this. Everyone, this is very, very important. This is, they might check you on interview on this. So, first of all, recycle bin is disabled. So by default, I'm going to say by default, it is disabled. By default, it is disabled. It's not working. Now what happens? Let's say a user John is created, a user, and you delete it. As soon as it is deleted, guys, in Active Directory, basically everything that you delete stays in Active Directory for 30 days. 30 days. So everything you deleted, basically this user will be gone from here, but it stays in Active Directory for 30 days. So basically it will be gone from here, but in a hidden place in Active Directory, it is still sitting for 30 days. Now within 30 days, if you go here and undelete it, it will come automatically to this location. Let's say if 30 days are passed, then this will be permanently deleted. Permanently means that then now you need to restore it from the backup. So everyone, you need to restore it from the backup. You need to restore it from the backup. So here, now one more time. And this is not a difficult concept to understand. We all know that. So this user without recycle bin. Now what happens without recycle bin? So let's say recycle bin doesn't exist. So it doesn't exist. So if it doesn't exist and user got deleted, so user got deleted, it's got deleted. Guys, now it went into such a place in Active Directory. If Active Directory is not there, then you need to go into low level inside Active Directory by following a lot of command lines. So in order to bring it back to here, you need to do a lot of command lines here. So you need to do all this and then this object. So the person who really knows Active Directory deep down and can run many commands, then you can undelete it to bring it here. So in the past, it was such a pain to undelete some objects from Active Directory, to undelete and bring them back here. If you have accidentally deleted something, even bringing within 30 days was a pain. So guys, in order to overcome that pain, now Microsoft introduced something called Active Directory Recycle Bin. And to start with, it's not enabled. We must enable that. Now, once you enable this, what happens is, now, as soon as you delete, instead of going into that hidden place, what happens is within Active Directory, it creates a folder, and that folder is called a recycle bin. So recycle bin. So exactly like this bin, garbage bin here. Now, as soon as you delete, this user goes and sits here. And now it is the most convenient way of undeleting it. All you need to do, go into recycle bin, right click the user and undelete user automatically comes here. So just to make this process very, very simple, Microsoft introduced this concept of recycle bin. Recycle bin is disabled by default to start with, but guys, once it is enabled, it is enabled forever. It cannot be disabled. So companies would think twice in order to enable this. So in here, according to documentation, if it is enabled once, it cannot be disabled. So it has to be based on company policy. Do they need a recycle bin? Do they not need a recycle bin? So that kind of thing. Now, before going to your question, one more time. Recycle bin is a place in Active Directory where when you delete something, goes into recycle bin. Without a recycle bin, you can bring back that user, but then you'll have to do a lot of command line in order to undelete that object. With recycle bin, it's really easy. In order to enable recycle bin, we can do it in two ways. It can be done in two ways. So enabling can be done in two ways. So it can be done through a PowerShell. I'll come back to your questions. Let me quickly go through this concept. It can be enabled through PowerShell, or it can be enabled from ADAC. So within ADAC, it has this feature that you can enable recycle bin right from ADAC. Now, you cannot enable recycle bin from ADUC or ADSS, the normal general Active Directory tool you cannot enable. It can only be enabled from ADAC. So once it is enabled, it cannot be disabled. How do you enable it? From here, all you need to do is just right click on your domain, and right here it says enable recycle bin. So as soon as it is enabled, then you will be able to undelete objects. Now, since it is not enabled, at this point, if we remove John Hope, it will be very, very difficult to bring the user back here. And so it will be very, very difficult to bring the user back. But if you enable it, then it is easier to undelete. Before I take your question, let's enable it. So all we need to do is right click on eGreen and go enable recycle bin. As soon as you enable, it is asking you, are you sure you want to perform this action? Once recycle bin has been enabled, it cannot be disabled. So it's fine. We need a recycle bin. So once it is done, please refresh Active Directory Administrative Center now. ADS has begun enabling recycle for this forest. Recycle bin will not function reliably until all domain controller in the forest has been replicated. Meaning, so as soon as you do this option, this will be replicated to the second one as well. In our case, it will be done in split seconds. In case of Rogers, where they have 60 domain controllers, we have only 2 domain controllers. In Rogers, they have domain controller in each city. In Bell, they have domain, wherever Bell's office is, they have 1 domain controller. So 70. Recycle bin won't work properly until it is replicated to all the DCs. In our case, it will be replicated in seconds. So here we'll just go and enable it. As soon as it is enabled, and refresh F. So here you would see a new folder called deleted objects. So within this list, you would see a new object called deleted objects. Deleted object is now available because we enabled recycle bin. If you would have not enabled recycle bin, this object would have not been here. So first, let me take his question. Yes.
Because this option, the enabling option, I've noticed that on my phone as well. Can you force delete something from the recycle bin?
Yeah, we can. Just delete something and delete from there. Yes.
From the deleted object?
Once it is deleted from deleted object, it's gone. It's exactly like how we have recycle bin.
But why would companies think twice, enabling them?
Maybe space?
No. Yes, it is. So guys, the question here is, why would company needs to think twice in order to enable this option? Because this is a resource intensive option. Because when you enable recycle bin, it will use your CPU extra as compared to a server without recycle bin. Because now it needs to keep track of one object, where one object is connected. And in our case, we have a very small Active Directory. Guys, in Rogers' case, it has an Active Directory of 60,000 objects. 60,000 objects. So 60,000 objects mean now once you enable recycle bin, now it needs to keep track of everything connected to that object. And you keep on deleting object, creating objects. So this is enabling recycle bin is an extra stuff that will be done on servers.
And another thing which can be that in this case, if anything is deleted accidentally, it will stay there for 30 days. And to access is not easier for any user. But in that case, if you enable Active Directory, you can delete it
and
very
then
easily.
Yes.
You can even delete, accidentally deleted items can be deleted very easily from. So that is a drawback.
That is a drawback as well. Yes,
And
it's so easy to delete and bring.
I think there is no 30 days limit for recycle bin. It will stay ever.
No. It's again 30 days.
30 days?
Even with this, it is a 30 days limit.
Oh.
That 30 days limit is known as tombstone lifetime. So this is known as tombstone.
That was the name of the scientist.
Tombstone.
Tombstone. What is a tombstone? What is it?
कबर के ऊपर जो
It's the
Tomb बोलता है.
so.
yeah, this is tombstone.
Yeah.
This is TOMB.
अच्छा, B.
Sorry,
Tombstone.
Yes, tombstone. Tombstone. Guys, it's a tombstone life. So whoever asks you about what is a tombstone lifetime in Active Directory is 30 days. Meaning after 30 days, object will be completely deleted. Within 30 days, it will sit in Active Directory. All you need to do, just go back and delete that object. Yes.
Let's say I have 2 servers in Mississauga and 2 in Montreal. Stuff that is deleted here, will people in Montreal can restore it from their recycle bin as well?
As long as it is replicated, so as long as they are all replicated, and this is a property of Active Directory that it must replicate. As long as they are replicated, anybody can undelete, provided you have the permissions.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can undelete. It's only the administrator who can undelete.
Okay.
Okay. So guys, let's go here. Okay, first question here. Yes. I'll come back to your question.
So how in the real environment how you do that?
So in real environment, some companies would enable it, some companies would keep it disabled. And they keep it disabled. If anything is deleted, they have this command line structure. They have to follow the command line to undelete it. But some companies would keep it open. Is that your question?
Yes.
Okay, next question.
I just want to know the difference between like when you take a snapshot and what's Active Directory.
Sorry, snapshot?
Versus the recycle.
Snapshot versus recyclement. So snapshot is a feature of VMware Workstation. Oh, you're talking about Active Directory snapshot.
Yeah.
You're talking about Active Directory, not the snapshot in VMware Workstation.
Yeah.
Are you talking about VMware Workstation snapshot?
No,
Active Directory snapshot. Now, Active Directory guys have a feature called Active Directory snapshot, which is exactly like a snapshot. It's a point-in-time backup. So your Active Directory file, so this file will be, I can take, just like we take a snapshot of a VM, you can take a complete snapshot of Active Directory. And so let's say I took a snapshot and I'll keep it here. This is my snapshot of this Active Directory and I'll keep it somewhere safe. And every 1 hour, I'll take a snapshot. So you take one snapshot and then you take second snapshot. And how many snapshots? 3 snapshots I have. Now, what is the difference in using recycle bin and the snapshot? So the biggest difference is that if anything is deleted now and you want to restore a complete snapshot, this will restore everything that was changed. It won't even just bring that one object. So that will completely, if I go back in time and saying, oh, I need to go back half an hour. So I'm going to take the half an hour snapshot and it will override the existing, which means everything else that was changed in Active Directory in the last half an hour will be gone. So for that reason, this is very good for object-to-object changes. Okay? Yes.
One, general question. When we say if you have permission for this and that, while creating users, the administrator is authorized to do each and everything. But for the other users, where do we specify that, okay, deletion is permitted, addition of, like,
This is, yes. Guys, the question here is, how do we distinguish between users? What type of users can delete object and what type of users cannot delete object? So, just one answer is that there is, by default, there is one user whose name is administrator. Administrator has full complete access. Now, other than administrator, let's say today you want to give John an access to just to reset password, and that we can set up from Active Directory. That is known as delegation of permission. There is a separate chapter for that. Okay. So we need to assign permission. For now, at the moment, we are all using administrator account, and administrator account can do anything. And later on, I'm going to say Masood only can reset a password, and Aman can only undelete objects. So we can do that granular change of permission. Guys, going back to recycle bin. Recycle bin feature was not enabled. We enabled it. Now let's test with deleting one of the accounts. So let's delete John's account. Let's go, guys. delete John's account and then go into undelete and undelete it. Yes.
The question is this tombstone period.
Yes.
Even though we have enabled Active Directory recycling, so that applies to that tombstone period again. Even though we have that recycle bin, so that deletion will be available for 30 days.
Only 30 days.
That's it.
That's it. Yes. So guys, the question here is, even if we have a recycle bin, would that tombstone should still apply? Yes, it is still applying. Why? Because if we do not do this garbage collection, then it will just be piling up. Now it will be, guys, the question, do we understand the question? That in 30 days this will be empty, all 30 days back object will be empty, and if you don't, then it will exactly end up like this. It will just start eating up your disk space. So it is very important. That process is known as garbage collection process. Even in Active Directory, this is known as so Tombstone is also known as garbage collection. So Tombstone seeing that all objects that are 30 days old, remove it completely. That is called garbage collection. It is just removing garbage.
Will it generate a message? It's 30th date. It will
No.
in 1 day.
No. This is just for system admin understanding. This is just for our understanding. Okay.
So what we are doing?
So what are we doing? First of all, we need to find John. And how do we find John? Go to overview screen, or you can find it from here as well. Actually here, search under this node. So you keep selected eGreen and search under this node. You can select this, or you can go to overview and search. You can go to overview and here search for Mr. Hope. So you can search for Mr. Hope. As soon as you're there, Mr. Hope is selected, right click and delete. As soon as you delete Mr. Hope, it's saying, do you really want to delete Mr. Hope? Now, Mr. Hope is gone from Active Directory, so actually removed from here. So basically, as a system admin, we know that it went into that space where it can be undeleted. And in other words, since we do have recycle bin, it should be in a recycle bin. So in order to see that, let's go to eGreen and let's go to deleted objects. And here we see Mr. Hope. And all you need to do is restore. So you can just simply say restore. And now once you go back in overview and search for the same person again, you would find it there. Guys, it's that easy. Trust me, it was so difficult to undelete from Active Directory without a recycle bin. Without a recycle bin, you have to know the exact location of that user, exact permission of that user, and a lot of information, and you need to do a lot of commands. So this is a new feature that comes with ADAC. Yes.
So there is overview again.
Okay, we'll go to overview again.
Can you search JHope over there? Yeah.
Actually, it's not searching. This was
Reset password.
This is just resetting the password.
Okay, no. When I type his name over there, it says fail to validate this user account.
Okay, so
I just want to verify if it's just me or
no. It is, you need to type exactly the same username.
Domain / username.
eGreen. No, it's just this. eGreen/J, and let's change the password to, and make sure the password is different from the previous password. So it is, and then you apply, done.
Why would you put a password, sir?
Successfully reset successfully. Sorry, because the main function of this is you want to reset a password. That's why you're here. So I mean, you have to have the password and the domain name and username typed correctly. Yes.
When we restore it, the user will go to this.
Its original location. Yes.
So there is another option, restore to, so we can.
You can restore it to a different location as well. Let's say you don't want to restore under Mississauga, you want to restore it in Montreal or somewhere else. Okay. So guys, this is the second thing that was described in this chapter. Now there is a third thing which is a very important thing, and that is a fine grain policies, guys. There is a fine grain policy. Fine grain password policy. Sorry?
Resultant fine grain?
It is fine grain password policy. So it is also called a resultant set of policy as well. So here, what is a fine grain policy? Now, fine grain policy. So first of all, fine-grained policy refers to a password policy in your domain. It's a password policy in your domain. So here I'm going to say it is a password policy. It is a password policy in our domain. In a domain. Now, what is a password policy? Guys, password policy refers to, have you ever used an ATM card with the wrong PIN?
Yeah.
Yes, sometime what happens? Your card will be disabled, right? You take your card with the wrong PIN, Kim. When you use your ATM, Kim, are you comfortable? Don't be too comfortable. Okay. So what are you doing on your machine?
Getting
Oh, you're finding? That's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna show you where password policy is. And who else? Are you comfortable?
Very good.
Very comfortable. Don't be very cruel. Sit straight. They're very comfortable. Okay, here guys. So fine-grained policy. Fine-grained policy. So just like there are some ATM card policies, so those ATM card policies are those ATM card policies. Fine, fine. Guys, those ATM card policies are this. ATM card, you use a ATM card, so this is your ATM card, and then you use it with a wrong pin. What happens? The card will be disabled after third attempt, and sometimes the machine won't give you your card back. Sometimes, or all the time.
No, sometimes.
Sometimes depends on bank policy.
Depends on banking. Guys, this is known as the ATM card policy. Exactly like this. In Active Directory, we have password policies. Now, password policies are that it is number one, the password policy would dictate that if this user, so if this user is just created, the user is John Ho. So this user, how many maximum characters of password he can use? So here the maximum password characters can be 24, meaning the password cannot be more than 24 characters. Number one. Number two, the history of password. So history of password. How much should be history of password? Let's say if it says 10, meaning John cannot use his last 10 password repeatedly again. So there is a password policy in force in this domain. In eGreen, there is one password policy. So this one password policy is saying that you cannot have more than 25 characters in your password. You cannot have more than, you cannot repeat your password after the same last 10 passwords. And other than this, how many wrong attempts would lock out your password? So here, let's say lockout is 3 attempts. If you say it is 3 attempts, meaning that after third attempt, your account will be locked out. It will be locked out. And then somebody needs to go into Active Directory. You would call the help desk saying, oh, I cannot log in because my account is locked out. Then somebody has to go to either ADAC or ADUC to unlock your account. Now, right here, it says, what is a lockout threshold? Lockout threshold. Lockout threshold is it's saying lockout threshold is let's say 30 minutes. Meaning if you don't reset the password, if you don't reset them in 30 minutes, it will be automatically unlocked. There is a lockout threshold. So for example, you did first 3 wrong attempts, your account will be locked. If you don't call the help desk and wait for 30 minutes, after 30 minutes, it will be automatically unlocked. So some companies would apply this policy, other companies won't apply this policy. Other companies are more inclined to that if the account is locked out, it is locked out for a reason. For a reason, user must call and user must identify his security options, his first name, last name, address, just like you do all the time with Rogers or Bell. So they would ask you what is your address, postal code and everything, and then after they log out. So guys, this is known as a password policy.
iPhone has this policy.
iPhone has a policy? Okay. iPhone has a one.
Having alphanumeric and number.
Yes, and then same thing what you were just saying, and that is that complex, password complexity. That is known as complexity.
I hate those sites which require, too much complex. Like they should be
must be
There is,
a
there is,
number, a
there is.
capital letter,
Yeah, those
uppercase
things.
letter,
It's annoying. It's annoying, but all financial institutions, they want you to protect your. That's for your own benefit. Complexity is, it can be enabled or disabled. Enabled and disabled. Enable means that you must have some alphanumeric characters in your password, and there must be one capital, maybe few small letters, so that there is complexity. If it is enabled, it means that there has to be one capital, there has to be small letters, there has to be numbers, or in some cases there has to be some symbols as well. So this is, if it is completely disabled, you can use any password. Guys, by default, in Active Directory, complexity is enabled. This is why when you first choose your password in Active Directory, it must be one capital and then a number. So that is why we use this password, P capital and password 1, because it has one capital, all small, and one number. That is known as complexity level. You can add symbols as well. So guys, basically this is known as a password policy. Now, what about this password policy? What about this password policy? Guys, there is one problem with this password policy. How many problems?
One problem.
One problem with password policy. The one problem with password policy is that by default, this password policy is only one that can be applied to everyone in the domain. So this one password policy, it cannot be that for this group, I can have a separate password policy. For this group, I can have a separate password policy. This one policy, once it is made, it will be applied regardless of CEO, regardless of managers, regardless of call center users. This one policy will be for everyone. Now CEO asks you, you know what, this is very complex. I cannot, I mean, give me a non-complex, give me a disabled complexity. I need to have a simple password. Or maybe he's saying, my knockout attempt, give me 10 lockout attempts. So sometime I just, guys, if you need to provide a less complex policy, in 2003, Active Directory, there was no option. In 2003, so here we have AD started from 2000. There was a 2000 Active Directory. It was upgraded to 2003. Then it was upgraded to 2008. Then it is now upgraded to 2012 and now going to 16. Here, there was no option to create new policies. And even in here, there was no place to create new policies and give it to different users. So in here, your complete domain would follow exactly the same policy structure, and your complete domain would follow the same structure. Guys, even in 2008, there was no provision of having a separate password policy. Now here, we used to have only one policy, but then how do we? In extreme situations, in simpler situation, what type of situation? No, extreme. I said extreme. So in extreme situations, what was the solution if you need to have two policies when this never existed? So guys, in those days when you did not have the provision of having an extra policy, we used to create two domains, two separate domains in the same organization. So this complete one policy is attached to one domain. Let's say if you need to change this policy for some of the users, let's say for all of these users, I want to have a knockout attempt for 10 and history of just 3. So for all these, since all these are marketing users and most of the time they are traveling, you want to give them a less complex password policy. If you need to give them less complex policy, then the only way we can do it, we can create a new domain just for marketing users and then create a separate policy for them. And this was very complex, guys. This was very complex. Why? Because more domains, you have more headache now. Now you need to take care of more servers and more resources are required. So instead of going here in 2008 R2, so in simple just 2008, there was no way of creating two different policies. In 2008 R2, Now you can create many different policies for different type of users. So first of all, by default in one domain, so one domain have one password policy. One password policy. So one domain has one password policy. If one domain has how many password policies? One password policy. Shuja, how many password policies? One password policy. But if I need to have a second password policy, guys, this is where we use fine-grained policies. So fine-grained policies are nothing but a password policy. So one password policy is already in your domain. And that policy is saying maximum, how much maximum characters, history, and lockout, and everything that a policy has. And now I can create a second policy here that is known as fine-grained policy.
Within one domain.
Within a one domain. And I can create this policy, maybe a simpler policy as compared to this, and then I can assign it to some people, saying that for these users, they would use this new policy.
As many as fine-grained
As many, you can create many fine-grained policies. But one purpose of fine-grained password policy is just to have a second, different policy that you want to assign it to different people. Yeah.
So can it be linked to the OU or a group?
It can be linked to a user, a group, a OU, anywhere. It can be linked to anywhere. Okay. So guys, one more time. What is a password policy? Password policy is that when you go, so you can remember it by ATM example. ATM locks out after 3 attempts. And in here, in Active Directory, you can also set up these policies. So first of all, I'm going to show you where this policy is. First of all, let's see where is the current policy. And then we'll create a new policy. Yes.
Can you have only fine-grained policy, not the other policy?
No, you can't. You must have. So it's a good question. Can we have just a fine-grained policy and not this? No, you must have this policy, and on top of this, you create a policy. But to answer your question further, if you need to have this policy, then why don't you just configure this policy, this one policy, as your fine-grained policy? Okay, guys, here you will be going into a new tool today just to see the policy. Actually, for group policy, there is a full chapter. We need to go into huge more details. But here, since we need to see that one policy, in this policy, all we need to do is we need to go to Server Manager first. So we are now looking for the existing policy. So go to Server Manager, and within the Server Manager, why is it 26? Let's change it to cool. Just this last button. No. This one. Yeah. One more time. Cool? So that's fine. We'll just keep it for 5 minutes and then we'll shut it down. Okay. Okay, here guys. So we need to go here, and for the first time in this class, we are going to open a tool called GPM, Group Policy Management. So this is what we are doing. View current password policy. Current password. So in order to view current password policy, all you need to do is Server Manager, and then Tools, and then GPM, which is Group Policy Management. As soon as you open GPM, it opens this new tool. So it's right here. Actually, it won't appear here on screen. It will be right here on the taskbar. So open this tool, everyone. Open this tool. All you need to do, go to Server Manager and go to Tools, and within Tools, open GPM. So look left and right. Everybody should be on the screen. Shuja, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So here, once it is opened, all we need to do is we need to expand forest. We need to expand domain, and then we need to expand egreen, and then select default domain policy. So we need to select this option. We need to select this option. We need to be in group policy management, forest, domain, e-green, and we need to be here default domain policy. Once you are in default domain policy here, guys, all you need to do, right click on this and edit. Right click on this and edit. So here we went into, once this is done, you need to go into forest, domain, e-green, and select default domain policy. Edit, I would say edit, default domain policy. Guys, first of all, this tool is group policy management. Now, within Active Directory, all policies are done through GPM. GPM is that tool. GPM, which is a group policy management, is that tool to apply all types of policy, and we're going to see many other types of policy. But for now, I just want to show you the password policy. In password policy, we are in default domain policy, edit. As soon as you edit, right here under computer configuration, so computer configuration under policies, and you need to go into Windows settings, and within Windows settings you need to go into security settings. Within security settings you need to go into account setting and then password policy, and this is our password policy here. So here, let me show you one more time. So once you are in GPM, are you in GPM? Yes. Under GPM, go into forest, domain, e-green, and then right click on default domain policy and click edit. Once you click edit, then you need to go in this structure. So in computer configuration, under this you need to go into Windows settings, number 2. And under Windows settings, you need to go into security settings, account setting, and password policy right here. So if you can follow this tree here, you will get to our default domain policy. This is our default domain policy. Are you there? No, you're not there.
Right click.
Hmm?
Yeah, right click. Hold on. No,
You are there.
expand it. Expand it.
Yes, go
Yeah,
under
this is
policy.
default domain.
Click on
Right click.
policy. And then go into Windows settings. Oh, yeah. And go into security.
Right click it.
And then password policy.
Right click it. Default domain.
Yes.
Edit.
Everybody is here? Yeah, I'll show you where. It's account policy, go into account policy.
Expand policies. There's two settings. Computer settings. So Windows. I'll expand it. When you expand it, shows you just expand it.
This is the dad.
Expand it.
This is the mother. This is the grandfather. This is the mother, bro.
You can see what
Masood number 1.
you see how the account also, right?
And just
Because you click it
go around in
right
the
on
slide and see that who needs a help.
Okay.
Maybe somebody needs a help.
Double click it.
So anybody need a help? Go there. That's the problem. But you just make sure everybody is on this page.
But that's the question.
Security settings. Security settings. Security is no.
No, you can, but we should.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Okay.
Better than just going to
And policy, just click on
over here.
policy, Windows settings, and then security, and then account policy and password policy. Okay. Guys, write it down in your notes how to get to a password policy. Write down in your notes how to get to a password policy. Just one. No, just. Now it is. Okay. Okay, guys, write it down. Write it down so that you can tomorrow you can automatically go there. Guys, this is our current password policy. Thank you, Masood. So here, guys, this is our current password policy. Now, our current domains password policy is saying that enforce history is 24 passwords remembered, meaning you cannot use your last 24 passwords. Plus, here it's saying maximum age is 42 days. So in 42 days, it will automatically expire. Meaning in 42 days, you must change your password. And next one, minimum password age is 1 day. So if password is changed today, you cannot rechange it today. It must be changed after 24 hours. And the second one, the length of the password is at least 7 characters. And next one, password must meet complexity, which is enabled, and the store password in reversible encryption is disabled. Guys, this is a current password policy. Now, what is the problem? The problem is that this is one policy that must be applied to a complete domain. If my CEO comes here to me saying, no, this policy, I don't need it, change this. Guys, you should not change this policy. You should not. Why? Because if you make any changes, although we can make changes, for example, let's change the enforce password history to 10. I can change it. Let's say I change it to 10. Just double click on history and change it to 10, guys. So here, if you say 10, or even if you say here it's 0. 0 means I can reuse this password one again and again and again. It won't ask me to change it. Okay, but guys, when you do it here, it means that it will be applied to a complete domain, regardless of how many users are there. If there are 80,000 users, this one policy will be applied to all the users. So in order to have a separate policy for a group of people, Windows provides us that option. And that option, fine-grained policy, was first time introduced in 2008 R2. It was not available in 2008. It was available in 2008 R2, and now it continues in 2012 and 2012 R2. So this option is a new option. Now, the next question is how to create a policy and apply to some CEO, executive, or maybe a sales group or marketing group. So here, now, how to create a policy. Fine-grained policy. So now, how to create a policy, fine-grained policy. So first of all, it has to be written here that whenever the word password policy comes and somebody asks you, how do you create multiple passwords? Is there a way to create a multiple password policies? Yes, there is a way. And what is the way? We can create fine-grained policy. In order to create a fine-grained policy, it's so all you need to do is you can go back to ADAC. You can go back to ADAC. So within ADAC, I would say open ADAC, and then within ADAC, find a OU called systems. Find a OU called systems. Actually, it's right here on your book page 2227. It's right here how to create a fine-grained policy. There are few steps that we need to do. So in book, it is on 227. And on page 227, it says here, let me show it to you. So creating a fine-grained policy, all you need to do, go into this location. So you need to go to your domain, eGreen. From eGreen, you need to locate a object called systems, and you need to right click on systems and locate another object called password settings container. So that is password settings container. So from here, you need to go to eGreen, and then system, and within system, you need to go to password settings container, and from here you would start a new fine-grained policy. So it's right here. Even in the book, if you go, step number 1 is here. Display the password policy container, navigate to this, and then right click on password and say new. It will ask you, and then follow, and this is what we're gonna follow. So first of all, we need to know how to create a fine-grained policy. Fine-grained policy, all you need to do, open ADAC, Active Directory Administrative Center, and then we need to go to eGreen system and find password container and right click and then create a new password security password settings container. Here you just right click and select new, and let's do it now. So all I need to do is I would jump back to my server, and within this I can do it from ADUC. I can also do it from ADAC. For example, if you need to do it from ADUC, guys, first of all, we need to locate a container called system. Why can I see container called system? Because advanced features are not switched on. Guys, in order to see it, so here I said under domain there should be a systems. So in ADUC you need to go to view, and then you need to enable advanced features. Yes, Ken?
The book said, sir, that ADAC, right?
Yes.
But why you go to
No, I'm just showing you an alternate way. But we're gonna create it from ADAC. So, but guys, you should know that how do you create it. So go to ADUC and open that from there as well. So from here, you need to go to view and go to advanced features. And within advanced feature, now you see system. And within systems, here you see password security container. Right click and you can say all tasks. Actually on this side. So you need to go here and then select this, and now right click and say all tasks.
No. That's one double click.
Right click.
Oh no.
Right
Here.
click.
No, it's not.
ADAC was right.
Password security container. Oh, this is my server 2. What about server 1? So I'm gonna check that out on server 1 just quickly. Otherwise, we're gonna make it on ADAC, but it should be done from here as well. So view, advanced features, system, and within systems, we'll go down to password settings. Right click. Okay, so meaning, so in 2008 we used to create it from here. Maybe they've removed it from this in 2012.
So you can say add and remove columns, no?
No. It has to be new. So here, let's go down to this. So eGreen. Let's find systems. It should be done from ADUC. I think there is something that we need to check. So system, you double click on system and it opens password security, and right here new or right click. You select password security or new, and as soon as you do, it says password settings. Now here you can specify everything that we saw in password policy. So first of all, let's name it. Now this policy is only for executives. Let's call it E-Green executives. E-Green executives. So for E-Green executives, we're going to create this policy. How do you create a policy? It is right here, Shuja. All you need to do is you need to select password settings and then say new. So once you say new, it asks you for this. So first of all, how much minimum length do you need for this? So here it's 7. Let's change it to 3. So for them, let's give it to, they can have minimum of 3 characters for their password as well. History, let's say 0. They can reuse. Okay, so it's not taking it. It's saying at least it should be 1. Okay, so 1. And password must meet complexity, no complexity required. So we changed few things. So here password age is here, minimum password age is here. Enforce lockout policy as well. So here you're saying that after 3 wrong attempts, account will be locked out. And then account will be logged out. It will be logged out for 30 seconds, 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes it will be automatically. So it will be automatically unlocked. Once you do, guys, now the most important thing here is once you have this policy, now you need to apply it to someone. So that applying is done here. So for who are you creating this policy? So in the last point here, all you need to do, click add. So here we're going to say this policy is specially for John Hope. So here, let's find John. Or if you have a group called executives, we can apply it to them. If you have a user, we can apply it to this. So here we applied it. Now this policy is applied.
What about precedence?
Oh yes, precedence.
What is
Guys, precedence is, let's say John has already applied, John has already connected with password policy number 1. And then John is part of another group that also has another policy. So precedence says that which policy is which policy has more priority. So if you say this one is 1 and the second policy is 2, meaning the policy with the lowest precedence will be applied to John, no matter how many groups he is part of. But at any point in time, one user will have only one policy applied to a user. So precedence is 1. So once this is done, all you need to do, click OK. Can you create more policies? Yes, we can create more policies. So you can click again and you can start creating more policies. You can create one policy for marketing. You can create policy for salespeople, and then you can change precedence. So first policy has 1 precedence, second policy has 2, and third. So now you have this type of policies. You have 3 policies applied to one user. But whatever policy has the lowest precedence, that will be applied to the user. Yes.
So the precedence is for 1, right?
Yes, 1. It is just 1. So now, yes.
You after precedence 1, just click OK.
I just clicked OK. Yes. So here the policy appears right here. So we'll go down to it is right here. If you double click on that policy, now I have one policy saying E-Green Executive Policy. Yes. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna create it. But hold on. Guys, before even creating creating a policy is very simple. We used to create it in more complex way in 2008. So before creating a policy, is fine-grained policy clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Fine-grained policy is just that extra set of settings that you apply to somebody else to give them maybe a relaxed in password policy or maybe more strict policy. In order to create a policy, what you need to do is you need to go here, you need to go here and then here, then create a new password container setting. So all you need to do, E-Green, and then you need to go down to system. Within system, so just click this arrow and then go to systems, and within this select password. Once you are here, Once you double click on this, it opens like this. So now you're here, and all you need to do is new. So once you do say new and password settings, and here let's create another policy. Guys, create another policy, and we'll call this policy eGreen sales group. So this policy is eGreen sales group. So sales people who travel from one place to another, you might want to give them maybe more strict policy, because they might leave their laptops somewhere and people might compromise their machine. So we want to give them a strict policy. So here, first of all, minimum password length, will leave it as is. Enforced password history is 24, but here account lockout attempt, we need to give them, let's say, 2 account lockout attempt, and plus we're saying that it has no, not 0, 90 minutes. It is 30. Okay, this is 30, and what about it? Yes, here it should be 90 here. So 90 means that after 90 minutes, you will be able to unlock the account. If it is logged out, it is logged out for sure for 90 minutes. If you don't set up this 90 minutes, then it means that after 30 minutes, it will be automatically unlocked. But if you say 90 minutes here, it's saying that account is logged out. So it's saying for the duration of, nobody can unlock the account before 90 minutes. So this is, more strict as compared to automatically unlocking it.
Yeah, but at top you're saying that you are able to reset that period log after 30 minutes. So
after 30, but on top of this, then you have, yes,
so
you have.
in total it's 90 actually.
Exactly.
You can try after 90 minutes.
You can try after 90 minutes. Okay. So are you able to create a policy now?
So just add it.
Yeah, just and then add the other person, right? Not John. So add another person.
So precedence.
So I'm going to use this two precedents.
Precedence should be unique.
Yes, it has to be unique.
Okay.
Quick question. So should we add to? Let's
add to another user. Do you have another user? Alan, Dave? Yes.
Let's say I add the second policy into a group.
Yeah.
So
just
So the whole name, John Hop, full name.
Yes,
Full
then
name,
you can
John
do
Hop.
it. But for now, then don't apply to administrator. So the only other user you have is administrator. So don't apply to administrator.
No, John.
So what that means, precedence two.
Precedence 2 means that this if 2 policies comes to one person, then this is a priority of 2. The first one will always be applied. So precedence means if there are 2 policies, which policy has more precedence, more priority? The policy with the lowest number has more priority, and number 2 is less priority. Okay. Yes.
can one user be part of 2 groups?
Yes.
Okay.
One user can be part of 10 groups.
Okay. My question is, let's say I made the first password policy, and now I'm making the same password policy for Mississauga.
Yes.
And
user is part of Mississauga as well.
Mississauga as well. Now I'm making both of them. These both policies are different. I'm making precedent one on each on both of them. Which one would I pick? The one user that's part of both groups, because they both are different policies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which one would that user pick?
I haven't tried it. I'll have to check that.
Can you repeat that question, please?
Guys, the question here is, let's say Masood is part of 2 different groups, and 2 different groups are connected to 2 different policies. So one policy is attached through Mississauga, and another policy is attached to Toronto. And both have precedence of 1. And when the user logs in, which policy will be affected policy for him?
For the user.
For the user, if they both have the same precedent. If they have 1, 2, 3, then it's obvious whatever has least. I'll have to check that out. I don't remember. I think you cannot have the same precedence for another policy.
The user is.
Hold on. Let's see.
You can.
You can?
Yeah. I tried.
No, but I'm applying one to a single user or a single group, and
Okay, I'll check that out. So guys, for now, do we understand fine-grained policy? Fine-grained policy is used as an alternate password policy. By default, your complete domain has only one policy. Yes.
sorry, maybe I didn't like listen to what you guys were talking about, but see how for presidents we have 1 and 1?
Yes.
Why do you have 1 and 1?
It's the priority of a policy. It's a priority of a policy.
So what do you mean? So like 1 meaning it's very important?
1 means very important, 2 means, yes, the second important. So how does it apply? How does it apply? Let's see. Let's see.
No, but the question is different. I understand what you're saying, but what
Okay.
I'm trying to ask is like, so what I thought earlier what you said was 1 basically means the first policy that was created, 2 meaning is the second policy that was created. I thought that's
No. It's just a priority. It's just a priority. It's not that it's a number of policies. Okay. I'm going to check that out, come back to you. Okay, so this is fine grained policy now. Guys, right here, now going back to the books, if we go down, what is the next topic here? Yes, next topic is PowerShell. So within this chapter, there are 3 major topics, guys. There are 3 lessons. Lesson number 1 was all about ADAC. Lesson number 2, so ADAC, we all know, whenever the word Active Directory Administrative Center comes, it is used to make searches. It is a simpler Active Directory. You can disable, delete users and everything. And plus, second thing is that recycle bin option it can only be enabled from ADAC. It can only be enabled from ADAC or from PowerShell. So second thing is PowerShell. And the third thing, from same ADAC, we can create fine-grained policies. Guys, the next topic is about PowerShell. What is PowerShell? How do we use PowerShell? What do we need to know about PowerShell? Guys, first of all, PowerShell it's a very powerful scripting language. It's a scripting language, and PowerShell is all command line. PowerShell is all command line. Let me take this picture and post it.
So PowerShell is what we did in the last week, right? Where we left off.
Yes, this is the same. So I'm going to explain that and this as well. So let me quickly post it to the WhatsApp group. Don't have discussion time. So anything on the board, any question? Today, we started from understanding our architecture, number 1. Guys, we need to repeat that in our home labs as well. So it is, our architecture is 2 servers, 1 client. And then we started with creating, so we did an additional task, which is installing Active Directory. And then we verified replication. We also know the default replication interval is 15 minutes, and for all security objects, so other than 15 minutes, so it was here, other than 15 minutes replication, all security changes in a domain is immediate. It doesn't wait for 15 minutes. So all the security changes, you create a user, so you create a user on this, it will be immediately replicated. You change the password, it will be immediately replicated. Is he on internet? So all security changes are immediate. All non-security changes are 15 minutes. Now, guys, so right after that we went here, and then we started understanding ADAC, and ADAC stands for Active Directory Administrative Center. I know your fuel is going down. We need to re-energize for the next, let's say, 30 minutes or so. So here, guys, ADAC stands for Active Directory Administrative Center. I can't hear everyone. Active Directory Administrative Center. It is used for what? It is used for simpler purposes, mostly given to help desk, so that they don't have to find, you don't have to train them for specific tasks in Active Directory. Now within ADSS we can enable recycle bin. Recycle bin is enabled or disabled by default? Disabled. It is disabled by default. Once you enable it, can you disable it? No, we cannot. It is a one-way change. change, and it is very convenient with recycle bin that you delete an object and you undelete it. But you can undelete it for till how much time?
30 days.
30 days. After 30 days, then what happens? Guys, after 30 days, you need to restore it from the tape backups. Let's say this is your Active Directory server, and every night this server will be backed up in a tape drive. So it will go into a tape drive, and this tape drive will be placed off-site or somewhere else. So if it is more than 30 days and object is deleted, you need to bring back that tape, connect it to Active Directory, and then restore it. And that restoration takes a lot of, it has a lot of command line that we need to follow. Next thing we discuss, fine grain policy. Guys, the word fine grain has nothing to do with password, but they named it fine grain password policy. Fine grain password policy is another password policy. By default, if you don't have a fine grain policy, how many other policies exist in your domain?
One.
There is only one. There is only, see, Shoaib listened and he said one. Shoaib, what are you doing? So here, there is only one password, and then we can keep on creating password policies and assign to user. Now, guys, next thing is here, which is PowerShell. So we need to understand PowerShell now. PowerShell is a command line tool. Guys, PowerShell so number one, it is a command line tool. It is a command line tool, number one. It is a command line tool, number one. Number two, it is a powerful scripting language. It is a powerful string. So anybody who has done programming in the past or they are interested in programming, PowerShell, they can easily understand PowerShell. But for doing basic commands in PowerShell, you don't need to know programming. Now with PowerShell, it is all command line. It is all command line. But the people who know PowerShell in the industry, they are kind of more respected as compared to the people who are not aware of PowerShell. Now, how much PowerShell do we use in our day-to-day administration? I would say maybe less than 1%. Most of the time, 99% of the time, we use GUI. So we use GUI for everything. So how do you do one task? You can do one task in two different ways. Let's say I need to create a user. Now creating a user can be done either from GUI or it can be done through a PowerShell. Now through GUI, how many ways you can create a user in GUI? You can create it from ADUC or ADAC. You can create users from both places. But in this is easier way of doing it. All you need to do, go into your domain, right click, create a user, and you just created a user. And in this case, but here you do need to do few clicks. So maybe in maybe 4 or 5 clicks you can create a user. But guys, here just with one command line and one enter, you can create the same user. So this is just one command, and you can just create a user with one command. So now, where is PowerShell most important, most required? Guys, PowerShell is mostly required when you need to do a bulk changes, when you need to create 1,000 users in less time. If you start creating users in ADUC and ADAC one by one, 1,000 users might take maybe not hours, but maybe days. But here in PowerShell, all you need to do, you need to create a file, and in that file, just add all users' first name, last name, and create that list. And then with one script of PowerShell, you can just run this, and maybe within 5 minutes, you can create thousands of users. So basically, PowerShell is used for a bulk changes in Active Directory in a very small time. Now, PowerShell is a scripting language. PowerShell is all about commands, understanding commands. For example, in this chapter, if you go down here, so here it says, although ADAS So although ADAS can be useful for performing Active Directory management tasks, especially a smaller environment, using PowerShell to automate Active Directory administration is preferred approach when you must repeat such tasks frequently. For example, when you need to create user account in bulk, you can use PowerShell. So you just have one script, and then you can create thousands of accounts just by one script. Now let's see this here. Now in PowerShell, it has a separate command. It has a separate console. So the commands will look like this. Before I show you how the console look like, this is how the commands look like. Guys, PowerShell commands are like this. So as you can see, this is a command, new-ad user. With this command, you can create create a new Active Directory user. And with this, get AD user is used to just get the information of a user. And then set AD user to modify a user, and remove users to delete a user. So let's see these commands. First of all, how many commands are there in PowerShell? Guys, in PowerShell there are thousands of commands. So first of all, there are thousands of commands in PowerShell. Now the next question is, how many commands do we need to remember? None. We don't need to remember any commands. So guys, the one thing that I've learned with PowerShell, and I use PowerShell too, wherever necessary. If I can do something through GUI, I won't spend time in PowerShell, because sometimes working, or actually most of the time, working with commands actually prolongs your task. PowerShell is only good for when you have a bulk task, you have to do a huge number of tasks, and you can automate them. But guys, here, 1000 commands. Guys, the most important thing about PowerShell is to understand PowerShell from its basic and understand the PowerShell logic. If you are able to understand PowerShell logic, you can work with any set of commands. So here is the logic. Guys, all PowerShell commands are made up of a verb and a noun. All PowerShell commands are made up of a verb and a noun. And verb and a noun, they are separated by a hyphen or a dash. So this is a hyphen and dash. Now verb meaning that it has these, you will see these names on this side. What do you want to do with the object? So verbs are new, there is get, there is set,
Shows action, right?
remove. So this is the action. Yes, verb actually in normal English it shows action. So what do you want to do with the object? So if you need to create anything new, I need to create a user. So you can say new-ad user. If you need to create a group, I would just say new-ad group. If you need to create a OU, you would say new-ad OU. Now, as long as you can remember the syntax, you can run any command and you can understand any command. So a verb and a noun. A noun is what are you doing with this? So a noun is on which object what type of object you're trying to do. So this is new, and here is the noun. So now if you can understand this, yes.
AD is administrator, sir.
No, AD is Active Directory. So you need to create an Active Directory user, or Active Directory group, or Active Directory OU. Now let's try this out. Guys, in order to work with PowerShell, it has a special window. It has a special program. In order to work with PowerShell, all you need to do, go on to server 1 or server 2. Go on to server 1 and open Server Manager. And within Server Manager, go to Tools. And right here it says Active Directory module for Windows PowerShell. So it is the third one. It's the third one from the tools. It says, right, so Active Directory module for PowerShell. As soon as you open it, it will load this information. Basically, once it takes that time, that few seconds, it will load Active Directory commands. Guys, in PowerShell, all these commands are known as commandlets. So in DOS, In normal, when you run commands, those are known as commands. In PowerShell, all commands are known as commandlets. So here I'm going to add a sentence in PowerShell. All commands are known as CMDLETS. The word is commandlets. They are known as commandlets. So in normal slangs, when you work in offices, when you talk to other Active Directory admin, they would say, try that commandlet. Commandlet simply is that one command. So commandlet is, this is one commandlet. New dash AD user.
These are case sensitive?
No, they not all of them. Not all of them, but most of them are not case sensitive, but some are. Some are case sensitive, not all of them. So each command is known as commandlets. So new AD user is used to create new user. Wherever the word get is, it means you're trying to get information regarding some user. So get means I need to view that user. So get means, so here you would say get AD user, view user properties. And set AD, set means you want to modify something on that object. So this is set AD user, and you want to modify user properties. And remove AD user is very simple. It is to delete a user. Guys, when you run these commandlets, you have to follow a specific syntax. The specific syntax meaning that how do you want to write this, and what comes after this, after the command, and how do you use it. Guys, in order to work with these commandlets, one command that will help you throughout your use of PowerShell, and that one command is get help. Now I'm going to give you a strategy with which you don't need to remember commands. All you need to know is just to remember how to use these commands. So here, the one thing that can help you all the time is get help. With get help, you can get the help of any command. To get a help, so here with this command, so let's say today I want to create a new user. If you need to create a new user, it must follow some syntax. So right here, let's see. Here it says
Effect and get help, you know, and it's
okay, here, let's say I want to say get user, get AD user, AD user. As soon as you do say get AD user, at the same time it asks you another thing. Guys, this is where I mean you need to remember many parameters when you run these commands. So if you don't remember the parameters, it won't work properly. So what I'm going to do is I cancel this command. In order to cancel any command, all you need to do press Control C. Control C. So to cancel a command, let commandlet use CTRL plus C. As soon as you do, it brings you back to the prompt, and this area is known as a prompt. This is known as a prompt. Prompt means that now it is ready to take a command. Now, guys, I need to use get AD user. First of all, I need to see what is the syntax. The syntax is all you need to write here is you need to say get help, get dash help, and space, and then say get AD user. And with this one command, then after that will be finished. So here, just follow this. So here now I'm going to say get dash help. So one more thing. Guys, these all commands are very, very sensitive. You make a typo here, missing one letter or something, then this command won't work. So in order to help us out with this, you can write like this, get dash help, and press tab. There is a tab on the keyboard. If you press tab, it should automatically fill up the complete word. So tab meaning that you don't have to type. It will make sure that there are no typos here. So if you say get help and press enter, basically it's just saying here, newest PowerShell. Okay, for this it needs internet. Okay, it's gone. Okay, it's done. Okay, so press help. It just says that it needs to download a latest copy. We just say yes, or you can suspend it. It will still work. So here, let's again say get dash help and tab, and then space, and now say get dash AD user. So you're saying I need to get a help of this command. And first of all, what is this command from? Get dash AD user. I need to see some user's property. Get means get me that information. And new means you need to create a new user. Is this understandable?
Yeah.
Yes. So new means create a new user. Get means get me the information. And set means modify something. And remove means simply delete the information. So right here, guys, I'm going to say this. And here, now it gives you the help here. So this is the help that it gave me. So if you look at this, it says the name of the commandlet is get dash AD user, and syntax is this. As you can see that how simple the syntax is. Now it's definitely not simple. As you can see, it's very complex syntax. Now it is complex syntax. So you might think that, you know what, PowerShell is useless. How can you remember all this? So guys, there is an easier approach as well. So first of all, I wanted to show you that whenever you need to do a PowerShell command, always take help of get AD user. Or if in the book, if the complete command is in the book, there are complete commands written. On internet, you can find ready-made commands available. All you need to do, copy and paste. But guys, in help, it gives you some commands as well. So here, in order to skip all these details and get down to the real syntax, all you need to do is, I can say here, dash example. So you can say get dash help, dash get AD user. You need to get help for AD user and dash example. I need to see an example of this command. So if you see an example, all you need to do is do exactly what the example tells you. So example, as soon as you do, it says that the example is
Help cannot find the help path.
okay. So it needs to download. It needs to download those files.
It's giving us a link.
It's giving us a link. Yes. So it needed to download some files. So once it downloads those files, it can give you the complete help here. So guys, here let's look at the book. So in book. It's right here. AD user example is right here on your page 232. And the example is, all you need to write is create a user like this. So new AD user, then dash name, and then you need to write the user's name, then need to write the user's given name, and then you need to write the user's SAM name, and then you need to write the principal name, and then all that. Now guys, yes, you're 100% right. It's not the easiest way to create a user. This is why I said 99% of the time we use GUI and don't use GUI. But let's say you still want to use PowerShell. My advice to you is that find a ready-made command on internet, or what we can do is I can copy this exactly, say the command if I can. So I copied it, right-click, copy from the book, and then I'm going to go inside PowerShell here and paste. So I pasted it.
In two interviews, that was awesome.
Actually, you know, when they ask you about PowerShell, just tell them yes, you know what PowerShell is. PowerShell commands are made up of verb and noun, and you do understand how to work with PowerShell. Even if you tell them this much, they understand. But saying this, no, I don't know what PowerShell is. I've never worked with. This is two different answers. You know what PowerShell is. You know how to use those commands. That's what it is. Because it's, I mean, nobody can remember all these commands and syntax all the time. Although when you are working in such an environment where you have to frequently write commands, those people might be more aware of commands. Guys, in all interviews, they are looking for this one simple question. Have you ever worked with PowerShell? Your answer is yes. I know what PowerShell is. What do you want to know? Okay, so how do you create a user? Creating user in Active Directory is simple. It is like this. If they ask you, how do you create a folder? You know what? I don't know at the moment, but I can simply use get help and find the command, get the syntax, use it. This is the right answer, because we can't remember everything. But you cannot say you've never worked with PowerShell. PowerShell is a very strong component of this.
And there are some questions in 410 exam.
For 410 exams, guys, 410 exam, just remember the answers.
Yeah, answers. Yeah.
410 exam, 411 exam, 412 exam, remember answer, get the certification, get it done. So your deadline is now two weeks. Within 2 weeks, you need to finish the exam. I'll continue this chapter from tomorrow, from the same place, and then we'll move on. Yes.